Well, in Greece, 15,000 government workers will be out of a job by the end of next year. It's part of a deal that lawmakers made that will secure another $11.5 billion in bailout funds. The agreement came after heated debates inside Parliament and angry protests outside. Previous austerity measures for public workers had slashed their pay by up to 30%.
It's the latest austerity measure to inflame passions on the streets of Athens. Civil servants gathered outside the Greek parliament in a last-ditch attempt to dissuade ministers from bringing in a new law that threatens their jobs.
All workers have to raise their voice in opposition to these policies, both in our country and in Europe. We have to coordinate our battle together.
Inside the Parliament chamber, though, the voices of government ministers won out. Late into the night, the three parties that make up Greece's coalition government voted through the controversial legislation, which will allow them to fire 15,000 civil servants by the end of next year and replace them with younger employees. After the vote, this explanation from the Prime Minister.
We're going through a very difficult path, but this is going to be a success story.
The target, once again, is the public sector. The new law will see some 15,000 state employees lose their jobs by the end of 2014. It will allow for young workers to be hired for less than the minimum wage, increase teachers' working hours, and impose more property taxes. Opposition politicians argue the reforms will leave the Greek people impoverished.
You're implementing the same catastrophic recipe of inhumane policies which have turned the country into a lab experiment. You've turned Greece into an indebted colony.
That anger is reflected in the streets of Athens, where hundreds of protesters gathered outside Parliament.
The passing of the law was a condition for unlocking over €8 billion of EU-led rescue loans, but critics say it will only add to Greece's 27% unemployment rate.
They've taken chunks out of our pensions. They took away our bonuses. How will we live? They keep demanding more and more and more. They should put their hands in their own pockets and bring back the money that was stolen from the public purse and give it to us.
Although this bill doesn't bring in new austerity measures, it implements some of the harshest Greece has committed itself to.
So far during this crisis, public employees have been prematurely retired or gone when their contracts wound up. With this bill, the government crosses the Rubicon and attacks the citadel of tenured civil servants. It will fire 4,000 this year and 25,000 over 3 years. For the first time, the political system is turning on the state it built in order to survive.